Hello, welcome to an EDH Deck Tech. Tymna the Weaver, Ikra Shidiqi the Usurper, crazy cat ladies. Meow. Alright, so you probably have some questions about why you want to play this cat lady deck instead of Kimbakat Regent. Or maybe not instead of Mael the Animist. Naya colors, what's wrong with me? Why do I love Entrails Feaster so much? Why is he the seeing eye cat for Tymna the Weaver? I don't know. Let's find out. First question. Look at that cat with that sword. Kimna decks are boring. There's so many. Look at EDHRec.com. So many swords and equipments for Kimba decks. That leaves a lot less room for actual cats. Who cares a crap about metal? Also, why not Naya? Look at the red cats. Terrible. Every one of them. Especially that one. Look at that thing. Anyways, Entrails Feaster. He's awesome. Why did I love him? Because he single-handedly won me a game against Marin, the stupid black-green experience counter lady. So now, that is said, do you want to be a crazy cat lady? I'm going to show you how to be two crazy cat ladies. Awesome. Welcome to another EDH Deck Tech. This one I'm super proud of. Can't wait to share it with you. This is my crazy cat ladies deck. And if you've already watched the 1 minute or so intro, you kind of know why I wanted to make this instead of a Kimba deck. Well, the commanders of this one are none other than Tymna the Weaver and Ikra Shidiqi the Usurper. So Ikra Shidiqi's got a big butt and loves other people with big butts, and anytime a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. So in a deck with a lot of animals that are attacking, you'll gain a lot of life, and then with that life you use Tymna the Weaver's ability. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you can pay X life, where X is the number of opponents that were dealt damage this turn. Combat damage. And if you do, you can draw X cards. So if you're playing against 3 people besides yourself, then you can pay 3 life and draw 3 cards if you went ahead and hit all 3 of them with a cat or 2. Anyways, without further ado, let's go into the cards. I'll go ahead and put a list at the bottom of the YouTube video also, but there's 4 forests. These lands could change. I don't know if they're at the exact right ratio. 3 swamps, 4 plains. I try to count the mana symbols in my decks, but as I keep adding cards and taking cards out, sometimes those mana symbol ratios change. Like if there's 40 white, 50 black, whatever. I try to match that in the beginning, but sometimes the mana symbols change or the ratios change later. Alright, so then I've got like some utility lands, a couple of Zendikar utility lands, Bajuka Bog and Oran Reef the Vastwood. This adds +1/+1 counters. That's a minor theme of the deck. Some basic duels. We've got Woodland Cemetery, Sun Petal Grove starring Wildwood, Isolated Chapel. Then you've got all the Ravnica bounce lands that you have these colors. So Selesnya Sanctuary, Orzhov Basilica, Golgari Rock Farm. Few fetches. I don't have all of the expensive fetches, so I do have Verdant Catacombs, but it's in another deck. So Marsh Flats, Windswept Heath, and then Grasslands, which is a great budget option for people. Alright, so then we get some more duels, but these have the land type so that you can fetch for them. So Overgrown Tomb, Temple Garden, Canopy Vista, Godless Shrine, Savannah, Scrubland. These are not real, they're proxied. Yeah, everybody in my shop's cool with that, so if your shop's not, then get new friends. Well, anyways, we got Sandstep Citadel and Command Tower for our tricolors, and then some non-color producing lands that are pretty neat in a deck full of creatures. So we got Yavimaya Hollow, which I love this card, and it's still fairly inexpensive for how old it is. Just tap a green and it regenerate a creature. Winding Canyons, you can play things as if they had flash. Creatures, that is. Tectonic Edge to destroy a problem land here and there. The new Temple of the False God art, far superior to the old one. Makes 2 mana. Gavany Township, put counters on all your critters. Great in Modern, great in this deck. And Vault of the Archangel, part of the same cycle, which this time gives your cats lifelink and death touch, which is pretty important because you're going to be swinging with a lot of cats. As one of your win conditions. There's a few win conditions in the deck. We'll get to them first. The mana rocks. I only play 4. A lot of people would play 10. I know maybe the ratios are off, but I'm trying to fit cats up in here, and this deck isn't going to be like crushing tables or anything. I will tell you how to win with it though. So that's all 3 of the signets in the Soul Ring, in case you didn't see them. I do play equipment, even though I said I don't like Kimbaka region decks because they just play 12, 14 equipments. I do play a few. Stoneforge Masterworks, more of a tribal piece. Every other cat on the table gives the equipped creature a +1/+1. Sword of the Animus is just to have some mana ramp because I'm not playing the rock, but I want to go ahead and get some attacks in with this deck. This deck wants to attack, so instead of putting another mana rock in, I'll just put a sword that lets me both ramp and hit people. And then Behemoth Sledge. This is in here. Lifelink and Trample is always great, but the reason it's in here is because of the flavor text is by Ajani. Only on this particular version, so you have to get the dual deck version to get, "May this grant you all the strength of the behemoths and none of their serenity," end quote, Ajani. Thanks, buddy. So there's a lot of Ajani stuff in here. The rules of this deck were simple for me. I wanted lots of cats in the picture, or I wanted some kind of stupid pun that I could make with cat, as you'll see soon with a couple cards, or I wanted cat toys, so maybe like a Sensei's Divining Top could be in a deck. It's not in this one, but it could be like something a cat would play with. A laser pointer, I don't know what the equivalent of that is in Magic. Or I wanted cat ladies, and so I tried to keep men out of the card art. If there are any human creatures, they're usually females, and if they're men, then they should probably come out of the deck soon. So first of all, we're going to protect our cats. How are we going to do that? Well, Ajani loves to protect things, clearly, so Ajani's Presence gives everything +1/+1 and indestructible to end the turn. If you strive for it, so you have to pay extra every time you target a new creature. Or Heroic Intervention, which is far superior, instant, gives all permanents hexproof and indestructible, all of yours. Fantastic trick. Alright, so here's some cat cards, some random ones. Waiting in the Weeds. This is an oldie. For each untapped forest he or she controls, each player, everybody, puts a cat token into play under his or her control. Treat these tokens as 1/1 green cats. Cats used to be green in Magic before mirrored and block, I think. Well, now I made tokens because they don't have any actual 1/1 cat tokens, green ones, in Magic's history. The card's too old. It's from Mirage. So I made these. If you can name the movie that this is from, you will win a bonus. Maybe I'll send you a cat token or like a pack of cat tokens. So then we've got some green card draw, fine. We've got Natural Order, beautiful art. Now it's cheaper because of the new Eternal Masters, which is great. But you've got a green creature and you want to sacrifice it, and you're going to search your library for another green creature, put it onto the battlefield. See if you can guess which one it's going to be. It might be a little weird. It's one of the pun named ones. Another combat effects. This deck has a lot of combat effects, like enhance your cats, because cats are pretty small usually. You got like what, 2/2 cats. Occasionally you'll make 2/2 Forest Walk Cat Warrior tokens. I'll show you how later. So this art is some of my favorite art in all of Magic. This cat, I saw it on Duels 2012 or something. First time I ever saw it. And yeah, it's a cat who's become gigantic, chasing like a couple merfolk warriors, basically going to eat them. They are like the fish in the fishbowl. And I love this art. I think it's fantastic. The effect on the card's not bad actually either. It gives them +7/+7 trample and makes them block whatever the creature is that's attacking. So you can really empty out defending player's board with it. Then there's Overrun. I'm pretty certain that thing's a cat. So it has to have a cat in the picture if it's going to play it. There you go. Path to Exile. Luckily the old art is clearly a lion guy turning into feathers. So there you go. Fantastic removal. Also, this alternate art for Beast Within with the crazy looking cat claw coming out of it. It's the Beast Within. Here's a cool card, Pulse of the Fields. I didn't know about this until I built the deck, but it's pretty neat because in Commander, especially large player games, there's going to be a lot of times where you're behind the board. So for this, instant speed, gain 4 life. Then if an opponent has more life than you, anybody, you return this to your hand. So like you can keep bouncing this back as long as somebody else has more life than you. That's fantastic. Here's another buyback card, Slaughter. 2 and a black, and 2 and 2 black, buyback, pay 4 life. In this deck, you gain a lot of life, so you don't really have to worry about it. Maybe in concert you use these, right? You lose 4 life to destroy target non-black creature. It can't be regenerated. And then you go ahead and gain 4 life back. Boop, 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 boop. You just keep doing it over and over again. Great. That has Miri in it, by the way. Miri the cat. Austere Command. This deck kind of needed some more board wipes, so these don't really have cats in them, but this one does have females, so that's good. Chroma's Vengeance. Austere Command. Here's a pun. Catastrophe. Not only does it have women running away from what looks like a crazy ice wave, this destroys all creatures or all lands. Creatures destroyed can't be regenerated, and that's actually pretty useful in this deck, because if you get a big cat army with White Sun Zenith, say, then you can destroy all the lands and kind of let your cats take over. Here's an awesome card, an expensive card. It hasn't been reprinted much, if at all, I don't remember. But I had to get a Korean version because there were no English versions available. Some people may like it better. It is Miri's Guile. So Miri's the cat pictured. She's running through the forest. It costs 1 green. It is an enchantment. And all it says, basically, is that every upkeep, at the beginning of your upkeep, you look at the top 3 cards of your library and sort them into a different whatever fashion you want. So it's like a Sensei's Divining Top, kind of. But for 1 and a green with a cat on it, awesome. I'm game. Here's a sweet card that actually helps swings game for you. Keeps you alive longer. Authority's Council. Your creatures that are fine and the opponent's creatures enter tapped. And then whenever their creatures enter the battlefield, you gain an extra life. Now some might say, why is this card in the deck? It doesn't have cats or women in it, but there's a little girl in the corner. Pretty certain she's holding something. I think it's a cat. It's debatable. Oath of Ajani. Yay, giant cat. Woo! I swear my allegiance to give you a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, and all your planeswalkers cost less. There's only 1 planeswalker in the whole deck at the moment. Could be more later, but that'll be various versions of Ajani himself. He's swearing an oath to himself. So then we got Kismet. Kismet's pretty sweet in a 1-player game, but it's also sweet in another game where there's like a player on the table who's causing a big problem for everybody. And what this enchantment does is it makes artifacts, creatures, and lands of that player come into play tapped. So pretty sweet. Also pretty sweet cat art there by old Caja Folio. Speaking of tigers, Beastmaster Ascension. Oh, I love this card. It's so much fun. Like I said, cats are going to get super buffed. That's the only way to win with them, so you're going to buff them with old Beastmaster Ascension. Don't know what it does, just look it up, please. I'm going to try and get through the video a little quicker, I guess. Primal Vigor. This has shot up recently in cost. This used to be worth almost nothing in prices, but I guess because of all the influx of constrictors and stuff in standard +1/+1 counter decks have gone up, or maybe it's the proliferate Atraxa decks. Whatever the case, I don't know how much this is. I know it's expensive, so if you can't get it, you don't absolutely need it. All it does is it makes double the tokens that you would make, or it puts twice as many +1/+1 counters on creatures if you're going to do it, which in this deck's pretty good. I got Doubling Season also. Again, very expensive. You can get away without it with the next card I'll show you. It just does the same thing. It doubles all the tokens. It doubles all the counters. Yay. And then Cathar's Crusade. This is the one that's still fairly cheap, luckily. And you can go ahead. This gets out of hand. If you put like 5 or 6 cats out, they all trigger. You know, pretty soon you've got a bunch of 6/6 cats on the board. Sweet. Here's some other buffs. These will be the last buffs before we get into the actual cats, because you haven't seen a lot of cats yet. We get Eldrazi Monument, makes all your cats flying and indestructible. Obelisk of Erd, convoke a couple cats, and then put this out to give them all +2/+2. Then Akroma's Memorial, because black and red are hard colors to beat. So you give them protection from black, red, trample, haste, vigilance, first strike, flying, and you just pretty much win the game. So, cats. The only 2 Ajani's I own at this moment are the very cheap ones. So I got a Johnny Goldmane and a Johnny Caller of the Pride. They're okay. They're not my favorite. They do some life gain stuff. They do, you know, make cat tokens and give counters, so they're okay. They're not my favorite though. I wish I had the other ones maybe coming through Puka Trade. If you can help with that, great. I'll leave my link to my account on the whatever description. So here we go. Cat Lady. Woo! Yay! Finally made it. Cat Lady. If I've ever seen one, mother of runes. I mean, look at this lady. She's clearly got. There's probably like 27 cats all down around the frame here. She's just living inside, protecting all your cats at instant speed. Fantastic. Also going to like sort of like a legacy type of deck here. Stoneforge Mystic. We got a couple of equipments. She's a lady. Huh? She wants to give the cats some swords or something. Sure. Yeah, why not? Champion of Lambholt in a +1/+1 counter deck, where you give a lot of things +1/+1 counters. Man, it's great to give her counters because champions with power less than her can't block creatures you control. Along with your commanders, that's incredible synergy. So if she's got 5 +1/+1 counters, your cats are getting in for days. Here's another thing. Another lady, Joriel, Empress of Beasts. Yeah, she's a Spell Shaper legend, whatever that means from back in the old days. But you pay 2 and a green and tap, discard 2 cards from your hand. Until end of turn, all lands target players control are 3/3 creatures that are still lands. You know what you do with this? You go ahead, you turn everybody's lands into a bunch of creatures, somebody you want to win the game against, and then you cast Catastrophe. Yeah, that's right. That punny one from way back in the pile there. Cast Catastrophe, and all of a sudden you destroy all of their creatures or lands. Hell, just destroy everything. You destroy all creatures and then boom, you've literally wiped their entire board. There's nothing left except for some artifacts or whatever. Pretty sweet. This is my favorite card in the world. I explained kind of why already. Yeah, he is the Seeing Eye Cat to Tymna the Weaver. So don't hate. She's got to get somewhere. Also getting somewhere, Oresco's Explorer. I don't need mana rocks. I just need a cat to help me look around and find extra planes cards. Anytime Oresco's Explorer enters the battlefield, search your library for up to X planes, where X is the number of players who control more lands than you. Then reveal and put them into your hand, shuffle. So he goes and gets a bunch of planes cards for you. That's why it's good to have those named duels, you know, like the expensive ones, because you can go fetch duels with the named planes instead of just basics. Leonin Arbiter, hey, he's a cat, kind of. He's like a weird Rasta cat, and he doesn't want anybody to search the libraries. That could hurt you, but anyway, he's a cat with a weird effect, and if people are tutoring all over the board, oh my goodness, it's good to have this guy up. He only makes them pay 2 extra. It's not a huge deal, but it's something. You got to get your hits in where you can. Qasali Pride Mage, fantastic cat, seen play in all formats forever. Great ability, Exalted, and also sack instant speed to destroy a troublesome thing. Leonin Relic Water similarly destroys troublesome enchantments and artifacts. He kind of flashes them in, flashes them out. I'm sorry, that's the wrong nomenclature. He jumps in, battlefield, exiles a target artifact or enchantment. Now this is one of the cards that you can kind of exploit. There's a trick to where, like, with the exile target artifact or enchantment trigger on the stack, you remove him from the game somehow. If you have a way to do that, maybe you sacrifice him or something, and what happens is he'll die, and then the thing that you're targeting, the trigger will go off, and that will be exiled permanently, because there's not going to be this other clause of leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to its owner's hand. That's not going to happen because he was already dead when that thing was exiled. So it's a nifty trick if there's something that you're super worried about. You know, like, hey, I'm going to high market my own Leonin Relic Water with that trigger on the stack so that your crazy Platinum Empyrean never comes back, ever. Alright, other cats. Brimaz, make some white cat soldiers. Yeah. So luckily RK Post has made some cat soldiers with vigilance tokens. RK Post is an awesome artist for Magic. He goes to all the GPs if you don't know about him. Check out his website. So Brimaz makes little 1/1 cats whenever he attacks. Great. Miri Cat Warrior, she's the bomb. Love her. I love the weird text of old cards. Mirri Cat Warrior counts as a Cat Warrior, just in case that's important to you. She's vigilant. It doesn't also have the text for that. Vigilance wasn't a thing, I guess. So attacking does not cause Mirri to tap. She's first strike, force walk, sweet. Cat lady. Tajnar. So this goes in a lot of cat decks because he fetches equipment. So you pay X extra whenever you play him, and then you can go search for an equipment with that converted mana cost. We have nothing but cheap equipments in here, highest being 3. So you pay 6 and you can go get your weapon of choice, put it into play, and put him. Johnny's Chosen. There are some enchantments in here, like the Authority of the Councils and stuff, but mostly it's just because, like, you can't get much more cat value than this. I mean, like, there's a whole cat family. I don't even know who these people are, but awesome. Set's Tiger. This is a sweet cat. Look at it. I mean, that's crazy looking. It's got like weird crown. Anyways, he flashes in. So 2 white, 2 colorless, flashes in, 3/3. When he comes into play, you gain protection of the color of your choice until end of turn. You know what this is good for? If somebody goes crazy and wants to do like a weird Comet Storm, or maybe it's not Comet Storm, whatever the spell is, any kind of red spell that can target you, and just like with infinite mana, somebody goes off and tries to kill you straight out. I'm going to do 150 damage to you. Yeah. Or I'm going to mill your entire library or something. Boom. This guy comes out, he saves you from whatever that game ending effect is. So I just kind of keep him in my hand until that kind of effect happens, because it's not like you really got to rush to get a 3/3 cat out. You just need him. He's like a counter spell to a game ending effect in white. Just all gold main. Legendary Cat Warrior, first strike, pay 5. Attacking creatures you control get +X, where X is the number of attacking creatures. So boom, we're talking about overrun for cats. Badass. Yeah. Tymna Sabertooth, uncommon card that I first saw on the Commander's Brew, I believe. Yeah, those guys up in Canada land. So thank y'all for that. This card's awesome. For 1 and a green, you may return another creature you control to its owner's hand. If you do, Tymna Sabertooth gains indestructible end of turn. He's a 4/3. So not only can you make a 4/3 indestructible pretty easily, but more importantly, you can just protect all your guys for a fairly cheap cost. So you're getting like double benefits. Even things that have enter the battlefield effects, then you can cast this, and then boom, you know, you get to have those effects all the time. Mirri the Cursed. Yeah, Cat Vampire, my favorite kind. Flying first strike haste. Whenever she deals combat damage to a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Mirri. So you're doubling +1/+1 counters with things like doubling season, and then you're also doing damage in the air. So that's pretty sweet. Divinity of Pride. A pride is like a pack of lions, right? So that's why it's in here. Also, it's a 4/4 that becomes an 8/8 with flying lifelink whenever you have 25 or more life. Excuse me. So that's pretty cool. Pirage of Urborg. If you haven't seen these cards before, that's fine. They've never been played in any deck ever. First strike when attacking. That's a strange clause. 2/3. Black. Put a +1/+1 counter on Pirage of Urborg, but only use this ability when a black spell is successfully cast, and only once for each such spell. So that means actually black spells that other people control too? I don't know. That's what my guess is. If not, she's going to stay in the deck anyway, because she's like a weird muscle-building, cat-headed stripper. I don't know. Sabertooth Nishoba. Oh yeah, this cat's funny. For 4 green and a white, you get a 5/5 cat beast, with trample protection from blue and protection from red. Very strange combination, but that means those colors cannot block it. So that's kind of beastly. And then we have one of our other win conditions. People hate losing to this, but come on, it's a cat deck. If you lose to this, then you know you got to give it up for the cats. This is one of the best cats ever. Vigilance, lifelink at the beginning of your upkeep. If you have 40 or more life, you win the game. Period. Booyah. Spirit of the Hearth. This is a cool cat. 4 and 2 white, 4/5 flyer. You can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control. So cats like to protect you. He's like a spirit cat. He wants to make sure you're alright. We're getting towards the end. Here's Jedit Ojonin of Efravra. Yeah, I probably mispronounced that. He's got Force Walk. He's a 5/5. So whenever Jedit Ojonin attacks or blocks, put a 2/2 green cat warrior token with Force Walk into play. And that's why I made this token. If you know what movie this came from, then you can win some cat tokens perhaps as well. Ha! Cat Warrior Lord, by the way. What a cool creature type. Silent Sentinel. Archon. It's sort of a cat. Maybe he's the Archon. Maybe that's the cat. Maybe that's the Archon. And that's just some asshole. I don't know. Either way, Silent Sentinel costs 5 and 2 white. He's a 4/6. And he flies. And whenever he attacks, you can return enchantment from the graveyard to the battlefield. Pretty cool. Then we have 2 more. We have Ashen Rider. Again, who is the Ashen Rider? We don't know, but this is a cat that has wings, so that's pretty cool. When it enters the battlefield or it dies, exile a permanent. Bam. Can't get better than that. And here's a stretch. This is a stretch. I apologize, but my thought is eventually I will alter Craterhoof Behemoth to just have Catterhoof Behemoth. And then maybe make this big, weird, nondescript pig monster into like a just crazy cat. Maybe they're like the Terry Gilliam cats from like Monty Python for the really old folks who've seen the Monty Python cartoons where like the cat attacks the city just kind of walking around all crazy. Maybe that. I don't know. If you got ideas, leave them in the comments below. That's my cat deck. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. This gone long, so if you watched the whole thing, kudos to you. Peace. Alright, because I promised, how do you win with this deck? First of all, you have to play the political game. You have to be well liked. Everybody loves cats, but they have to kind of like the way you're playing too. So don't try to come out too early and smash everybody's face in. Just kind of gradually build up a ton of cats and then smash. Catterhoof Behemoth, Catastrophe, whatever kind of tricks you want to play. Hell, even Felidar Sovereign. Peace out. Thanks for watching.